Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, the other way. Let's see what happens.
Yesterday, and he told me last night that the best date is 2 of August and 4 p.m.
Yeah, I didn't show this scene as well, but Rishi consulted with his astrologer, and, well, actually, the two of them did, right? And the astrologer said, now is not a good time to tell your parents. Definitely not a good time. According to the stars, not a good time. And now we're hearing that the astrologer has said on a particular date at a particular time is the perfect time to tell the parents. What data is, I'd love to see the data that supports that notion. How would you, anyway, so that's what Rishi is saying.
Well, for me, it's like just 2 months.
So 2 months, okay. If it happens, then I'm guessing Jen would be okay with that. It's not perfect, but 2 months, all right. But I'm guessing Jen's thinking, I'm pretty sure August 1st, you're going to say your astrologer says August 2nd is definitely not a good time. And then we're going to be pushing it back another couple months because there's something going on here.
Yeah, 3 years later. I'm really frustrated that Rishi wants to wait another 2 months to tell his family.
The other thing is, it's like I keep comparing to Summit. Of course, Rishi is a completely different person, but presumably dealing with at least similar cultural pressures and complications. So on some level, with Summit, he's showing that he was definitely in it to win it with Jen, right? Against really a lot of different odds, a lot of different barriers, particularly from the mom, right? So I keep maybe assuming that that's what this situation is with Rishi, but on the other hand, it has a lot of hallmarks that he is not serious or something. I mean, he could be serious about the relationship, but he is not serious about marrying her. So there's that. And when you think about putting culture aside, which is hard to do, you know, when you're in love with someone and you want to spend the rest of your life with someone and you don't want to lose that, you know, presumably if Rishi doesn't want to lose her and loves her and wants to be with her, then one, he would put more effort into telling the parents sooner than later, and two, he would be trying to reassure Jen a little bit more. Don't you think? There would be more effort. Oh my God, you know, I'm so sorry, I don't want you. Because it's clear that Jen is in a headspace right now of heavily questioning the relationship, which I'm sure that Rishi picks up on this, that she could be edging towards 1 foot out the door at this point. You'd think that would scare you. You know, if my wife had a situation like that, if I did something that she misunderstood that put even just, you know, a millimeter of a toe outside the door, I would be flipping out and I'd be doing a lot of things to fix the problem.
Understand, like, how embarrassing and upsetting that is for me. Why would you send my friend a shirtless picture? It just doesn't make any sense. I think everything seems kind of like a joke to you, like it's not serious.
The thing is, because it was not a big issue, that's why I'm taking it very light.
Yeah, maybe he has a history of this working for him where when he's legit telling the truth or he's massaging the truth, if he is light about it, then he gets away with it, or it's what people want to hear. There are people that are like this that I've treated before where it's almost like a pathological jokiness that they don't even necessarily feel like it's funny, but they behave as if it's funny. There is something incongruent. Now, they are editing it, I think, pretty severely to highlight when he's smiling. We have seen that. He has smiling, and, you know, there's that, but I think they're exaggerating a little bit in the edit. But, yeah, it is interesting, and Jen is saying that right now, and I don't know. I would just hope that behind closed doors, Rishi is demonstrating that he really does want to be with Jen and does care, because certainly the way that they're making it seem and the way he's presenting on camera makes it seem like he doesn't care.
But it is a big issue for me.
We are just making that issue bigger and bigger every day. I don't know when it's going to be finished. Like,
when I'm gonna let it go. You know when I'm gonna let it go? When you express to me that you understand.
That was good for her to say that, because a lot of other people on this show would not be able to articulate that. They might not even know that that's what they're actually looking for. But that is often what we're looking for in a fight, is do you understand? Am I to you speaking as if I'm completely insane? Or can you understand where I'm coming from? That's a lot of the fight, is that lack of putting yourself in someone else's shoes, someone else putting themselves in your shoes and demonstrating that they can do that. If Rishi could do that, he would say like, well, yeah, I could totally see why, given the way that this looks, it looks horrible. And then I'm sure you're thinking, well, if he's doing that with Randy, maybe he's doing it with thousands of people. You just have no idea. We've been 2 years apart, so I could absolutely see how this would just be really awful for you. And I know, and I get that. I don't know what to do about it, but I understand that you would feel that way. I'm guessing 90%. My goodness, what a screenshot. How did that happen?
Last time I traveled this far was for Jen as well at her first wedding. So, yes, I went to Jamaica.
I hated her first husband, and she still got married to him.
She's already made the mistake once, and I don't want to see her make the mistake again.
Okay, yeah, I think we heard a little bit about that earlier in the season. I don't think we heard that specific detail. And that does explain why the friends would be skeptical and worried. I think that it's possible that Randy has a particular, because both of them are in the same position, but each of the friends has a different demeanor when they're talking to Randy about it. So I think it's personality based. I'm just going to take a guess, but that does justify their worry and their concern and their annoyance. You know, it's like, you drag me across the country to get excited about a wedding and you didn't think it through and you're doing it all over again. And, you know, it's hard. Sometimes I don't highlight this enough that if your friend takes you on a roller coaster ride emotionally, it's natural to get angry at them sometimes. Just like, why are you doing this to yourself? Because it's hard for me. Now, people on the show, they don't usually frame it that way, right? The way to frame it is, I worry about you and you're free to live your life how you want to. But I'm telling you, being close to you is an emotional roller coaster for me because of the ups and downs of your life. And, you know, it makes it hard for me sometimes. You know, you live your life, but I'm just telling you, from my perspective, it's hard sometimes. Maybe some empathy for that given to the two friends from Jen or something. I don't know. Because certainly Jen shouldn't say like, oh, well, because you're upset and it impacts you, then I shouldn't live my life the way that I'm living it. The tact usually, or the attitude usually from the friends, including Randy, is, I know better and you're a complete idiot. Which, you know, maybe there's some data along those lines, but I don't think it's very fair to do that. There's other ways of being with your friend and protecting yourself without being insulting or superior or self-centered.
Wow.
This is very interesting. You scrub your butt with that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. But this, you do wash your butt with this and your, you know, hoo-ha.
So it's like glamping, like
It is kind of like glamping, but with air conditioning.
like forever.
Yeah.
So it's like glamping, meaning that it's like roughing it in the woods to wash your backside after going number 2. And the opposite to not wash your backside after number 2 is high class. I don't see the core. I feel like we're going in opposite directions here.
Me about like both of you. So I know about all of you basically from the beginning. I thought like you are guys pulling my leg at that time. And I said, okay, let's do something. So I was also like pulling your leg.
Okay, so he's using the same story. At least he's being consistent, which is a tick in the column of credibility. But yeah, it's just hard to believe. It's possible, but it's hard to believe. I'm sure it's not going to fly with the friend.
You didn't say, oh, LOL, this was just, you know, I know, joke's on me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why did you block me?
Okay.
And you
I didn't-
deleted
yeah.
all of our chat history, which is a little shady.
So at that time, I was found like a.
All right, I don't think we heard that before. So he deleted all the chat history, right, because he couldn't pull up his side of the text exchange. Yeah, let's see what he says to this.
Okay, I think this conversation is going in a different direction. So I just delete all this. So my block list is also long.
So wait, this conversation is going in a different direction, so I decided to cut it off. So which one was it? Was it that you knew they were joking, or that this other person was taking it too far? Maybe I'm missing something.
Okay.
But do you message other girls on
No.
there? Okay.
But I get the messages from the girls.
You do
So-
get a lot of females messaging you?
Yeah. Still in the request.
Still in the request?
Yeah. Let me show you. It's all in request.
So this doesn't, help necessarily. It's just a detail. It could hurt him to say, look at all of this. It's in the request zone. Yeah, I will say it's annoying when they keep referring to Instagram as social media. And I'm guessing that the show doesn't want to advertise for Instagram or something, but they keep saying the phrase social media, social media. I don't know anyone who says, so DM me on social media. Contact me on social media. Which one?
We can't go forward to a future if I find out he's lying about everything in the past. To me, it sounds like just so many lies. I feel like I'm just now figuring out that he is just, I don't know, some kind of pathological liar. And I'm questioning my judgment. I'm questioning everything.
Yeah, so this, you could argue, is in the direction of gaslighting, or at least it's having a gaslighting effect on her, that she's starting to question her judgment. And there was a moment where Rishi, I'm confused in the details. I could rewatch it, but it's just a bunch of statements by Rishi about his parents and his parents setting him up with other women to see if he might find a match. And he says that he didn't know about it, or it's not happening, and then he's saying it is happening, and then there was one woman and now there's several women. And so there's a lot of inconsistent statements, and so one of the things that I did in the deep dive on gaslighting is looking at other terms that we use, not necessarily in the clinical literature sometimes, but more precise terms, because we tend to use gaslighting for like any experience, and I would like to reserve the word gaslighting for at least in the camp of abuse, where someone is controlling someone, and it either has an effective gaslighting or it is purposeful gaslighting because there's a victim and there's an abusive person that's gaslighting. And gaslighting is just one of the various ways in which abuse is happening, and gaslighting is one of the ways in which a victim will have a hard time getting out of the relationship, have a hard time knowing that they have rights and they have agency and stuff. So there are other terms, like crazy making is another term that we will use in at least clinical conversations about you're being told one thing and you're being told a different thing, you're experiencing another thing, and you think, wait, what? And you feel like you don't know if you're right or wrong. Everyone else is acting like everything is fine, and you just think, wait, am I the crazy one? What's happening here? Now, if it happens for a long time, then it will start to get under your skin, and you start to actually question your ability to judge anything. And once you have been effectively gaslit and controlled in that way, then you actually don't believe in yourself as a good judger of what is happening. So she's not at that point. I would put her in the crazy making situation. Earlier, she's like, wait, so this and that. And by the way, her friends, they asked the questions, or at least Randy asked the question, like, what's up with the DMs with me? And he gave his explanation, which was shady, and they said it was kind of shady, and then they just kind of gave up. So I don't know if they're gearing up for another confrontation. I thought Randy would really lay into him more, given the way she was talking about him away from Rishi. Maybe Rishi is just very disarming with his smile and his vibe. I could see that. But anyway, so she walks away. Jen walks away. First she's saying, am I wrong here? What is happening? And the friends are just like, yeah, it's shady. And Rishi's like, huh? And Jen is upset. She's wondering what's happening. And now she's using the term pathological lying. I do plan on doing a deep dive on pathological lying because it is something that I work with clinically all the time, and we see possible examples of that in these episodes. So she is thinking, God, it's like he can't help himself to lie, or he compulsively lies, or he doesn't realize that when you lie and lie and lie, that none of the lies make any sense, and it's very obvious you're lying, and you don't seem to care. It's one thing when someone will be trying to lie, and then they lie, and then they get called out on it, and they're like, yeah, okay, well, you sense that there's a part of them that recognizes that they're lying and that they shouldn't do that, and they're caught on that. Whereas with pathological lying, not always, and I do plan on making different types of pathological liars, that for some of them, it's like there isn't really that place inside of their soul where they say, you know what, yeah, I've reached my limit with my lying. Yeah, I should stop, or I should at least try to lie differently. There's a certain category of certain type of pathological lying where they just keep doubling down and keep evading, and at no point do they seem to recognize that everyone realizes that they're lying. And so it's hard to figure out what's happening. But I get where Jen's coming from, and she's pretty good at identifying it. She's like, look, it's not that your parents trying to set you up. It's that you lie about things so much. Everything is a lie. The stuff about flirting with Randy online, and then your explanation of it, and then you had several different explanations that don't make a lot of sense, and then I hear about this setting up, and what's the truth? If I can't trust you on these small details, then I have to assume that I'm not catching all the lies. Let's just take a guess and say that I'm only catching the most egregious ones. And are you ever going to tell me the truth? Who's to say that you get drunk one night and you get together with someone at work 5 years from now after we're married? Are you going to tell me the truth? I'm going to guess you're not going to tell me the truth. Or, I don't know, if something happens where you crash the car and you come home, are you going to admit that it was your fault? I'm just going to take a guess based on your behavior right now that you're not going to tell me the truth. That is extrememely damaging. I mean, it is. I'm just going to say it's almost impossible to feel safe and to trust someone that does that to you. And it's from that, it's almost impossible to love someone like that. It's almost, because to love, you have to be open and you have to feel safe. You have to open your arms and depend on each other. And when you say things to each other, when you express to each other, you have to have at least you have to have a pretty good guess that what they're saying is truthful. Because otherwise, you just can't flourish. You can't believe. You can't love. You can't feel safe. You can't build together. You can't do anything together. So, I get where Jen's coming from. All right. Well, that does it for that episode. Everyone, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.